Hey everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Ba-Boom. And I think we finally came to a breaking point. I think we have finally come to a point in the video game industry where anything could possibly happen and we will get excited for it because there is no news going on. There is nothing exciting going on in the video game industry. Game Developer Conference just happened. The GDC just happened. It finished. All right? It's gone. And have you heard any news? Any great games coming out from the GDC? No, because it's all indie trash. All of it. Anybody could come out with something interesting right now, and it would be hailed as something great. And it's boggling my mind that this industry is starving for news when it should always be on the roll. This industry, for as long as I've known it, has been on the roll. There have always been announcements for something. There have always been updates for something. Telling me that there's DLC coming out for some game isn't that big of a deal. I don't care. Telling me about the next Doom game modes, I don't give a shit. That's not news. That's an advertisement, all right? I want news. Give me release dates. Give me articles about what the dev is dreaming about. Give me the next line of parts coming out, peripherals coming out. Anything could possibly come out, and the video game industry is just gonna flock to it. Right now, we're dealing with a lot of greenlit garbage. If you know what Greenlight is, it's Steam's way of getting indie games out there. And sure, it's a double-edged sword. On one hand of it, you got tons of games you've never heard of and tons of developers you've never heard of having an opportunity to sell their product to you, the consumer, especially if you want video games. On the other hand, a lot of it's shit. A lot of it is absolute garbage, right? But you're not hearing any news from that front. You're not hearing any news about any good games through that, unless Steam tells you it's a good game, unless Steam tells you, hey, you might like this game. Well, I don't care if I might like that game, because it's an indie game that's still charging me 20 fucking bucks. I want something new. Now. I want something new now. Right now. Now, I don't see the problem with me wanting something new right now as far as the video game industry goes, because you would know where I'm coming from if you've been in this industry that long. Like, if you paid attention to this industry, you would know. Where are the announcements? Where's all the new exciting games? Did all these AAA developers just stop? Did everyone just decide to take a break all of a sudden? This billion-dollar industry hasn't had any decent news for 3-4 weeks now, if not more. And you can't even give me news from the Game Developers Conference? Game industry, what the fuck is going on? Did you guys stop trying? Did someone burn down your house? I don't... Do you have a bunch of paperwork you need to file? I'm confused here because the whole premise of the whole video game online thing and news is that it's always just coming out. There's always something to do. There's always something flowing in the video game industry. And right now, it's dead. It's absolutely dead. Anybody could come out with anything. So Valve, I'm begging you, all right? You can call me one of the fanboys. That's fine. I don't care. But right now is an absolutely perfect opportunity to try and tell the world that Half-Life is coming out. Absolutely. Half-Life 3, if you were to announce that right now, the news is so dead that anything that were to come out for like the next 2 weeks would just be swept under the floor. Because people would want to know more about Half-Life 3. Hell, even release a Portal 3. I'm not really a big Portal fan, but even that will do something. Left 4 Dead 3. Anything with the 3 at this point, Valve. Anything. 3 something. Hell, I'll even take Blue Shift 2 or Opposing Force 2. Just give us something. It also amazes me that this billion-dollar industry, this massive industry on the hardware front and software front, is apparently dying. I'm sorry. Yeah, let me clean out my ear real quick. I don't think I heard myself say that right. The video game industry is losing money? Why? It's because there's no news. There's nothing interesting coming out. Get the fuck off your asses and make something. What the fuck? Oh man. Yeah, I can maybe push it to the help of politics. A lot of political news has been going on, and I think we all know why. A lot of political news has been going on, so everyone tends to be paying attention to that. There's lots of excitement going on with it, lots of backstabbing and stuff that seems like it's straight out of a TV show like House of Cards is going on in the political game right now. But don't let that distract you from making fucking video games. I bet. Wait a minute. Oh my god. I just had a stunning revelation, everybody. Wait a minute. All of the Bernie Sanders people are indie people, right? All of the Bernie Sanders people, all the ones that are actually going to all these protests, and all of the ones that are actually going to these rallies and just making douchebags of themselves, they are the indie developers. They're not making any good video games because they're spending too much of their time screaming about Black Lives Matter and the KKK. That's just a small, I guess, revelation that I just had. Maybe that's it. I mean, they're the same audience. They usually love indie crap because they think every single person that's AAA or has money is out to get them. So fuck it. Why can't they be the devs? Oh my god. I just want good video games. And anyone who's been paying attention to my channel, you know this. You absolutely know this. I want good video games with a capital G. It doesn't need capital O and a capital D. But I want good video games. They don't need to be great. They don't need to be amazing. They don't need to absolutely 100% blow my mind. But I need something that keeps me entwined, entertained, that doesn't feel like it's a copy of something else. Like I'm seeing a lot of focus right now on something called, what is it? Tree of Savior. Tree of Savior or something like that. It's an MMO that's on Steam. And I'm looking at it and it's like, okay, this is made by the same guys that made another MMO before. And it's just a dungeon crawler. I'm looking at it, it's an MMO, and it's a dungeon crawler. What is that going to do for me? I've seen that before. Plus, it's a fantasy setting, so it's like, oh, kill some slimes first, and then, oh, eventually you'll be able to kill minotaurs and stuff like that. Like, I've seen that before. At least give me variants of that. At least mix it up a little bit. I mean, sure, you could say, like, I'm talking out of my ass. I don't mind that. I mean, shit, everyone on the internet talks out of their ass. But from what I'm looking at, as far as gameplay footage and pictures, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. It looks like another grindy dungeon crawling MMO. I don't want that. But somehow, there's a little bit of hype revolving around it. And I'm also looking at a Steam page right now. Borderlands up to 80% off. Who doesn't own Borderlands by now? None of the people on my friends list out of what 100-something people, they're not playing Borderlands at all. No one cares to play Borderlands anymore because everyone has it. Oh man, this industry is so starved right now, and I gotta tell you, just somebody announce something. Somebody somebody say you're coming out with something, I don't even care if it's some garbage Battlefield or Call of Duty again with 10,000 more actors and less gameplay in it. Just announce something. I don't care if I'm not going to be excited. Somebody announce something and we can finally get somewheres. Oh man. Here, look. I'm looking at IGN's page. To their credit, IGN at least pumps out articles that revolve around video games, but some of them are ads. You go to GameSpot, there's ads. You go to Kotaku, which is the worst out of all of them, ads. And stupid as hell articles. Like this is totally an ad. 9.7-inch iPad Pro to start at $600. That's not news. That's not video game related whatsoever. Twitter is keeping the 140 character limit. That's not news. What is this? Let's keep going. Daredevil episode 7. Yeah, Gotham has found its Clayface. Oh, more TV show stuff, more movie stuff. Pokemon tournament. Okay. Ongoing comic series. Indiana Jones 5? Oh, jeez. That's news, but that's not news I wanted to hear. More Daredevil. More Luke Cage. Oh my god, this is terrible. There's no video game news. There's no video game news. There's nothing going on. Even these, this is what I'm talking about. Even these top tier, we make all the money because we just host a simple website and we go to game conventions kind of deals, can't come out with decent articles anymore or that revolve around news. It's done. This game industry right now is starving. It is absolutely dying right now. Anything could come out and people would be excited for it. And wait a minute. This is on my personal note, all right? And you could gladly disagree with me, but I don't get The Division. I know some people that still want The Division. I know some people that are still excited for The Division, and by God, you want to play it, that's fine. I wouldn't be mad at you. At least it's a different IP with Ubisoft. Ubisoft is a terrible game developer. They are. They absolutely are a terrible game developer. They've been coming out with Assassin's Creeds nonstop, completely decimating what was once a great storyline. They treat their Far Cry audience like cookie cutter, don't worry, they'll just pay for it, Call of Duty people. And Watch Dogs was one of the absolute worst launches ever. But if you like The Division, that's fine. You're excited for The Division, you still play The Division, that's fine. But me, I don't see the appeal for it. So when the video game industry is so starved for news that this new game that's coming out already has people max level in it, which is, by the way, this game's designed to be like an MMO. So that means that there should be a progression of a ladder going towards, being totally OP and broken, right? There needs to be this progressive way for you to actually become stronger than all of the other players. When your, and I use heavy quotes here, when your MMO has people reaching the max level on its launch day, you're not doing it right. You're not making an MMO right. You don't know what you're doing. Now, if The Division 1 was like you testing the waters, Ubisoft, it was you trying to test out your own formulas and maybe you can learn from where you screwed up, fantastic. You guys charged $60 for a massive beta test. for what's probably the next Division that's going to be coming out. But if anything, you should have learned all this from the thousands of other MMOs that are already out. How do you design your game that should have taken at least a week to reach max level, at least a day, like less than a day? I don't get that. And sure, some of you are thinking this is nitpicking, but there were tons of other problems that launched with that game. And sure, some of them have been fixed by now. But I'm looking at the Division and I'm thinking, all right, it's a third-person military shooter. I was in the closed beta for it. What's the appeal? It's trying to do the exciting gun stuff with Borderlands, except without any of the exciting in it. Like, when you get this pumped up gun in Borderlands 1 or 2 or whatever, it always has some flashy effect. It looks really fucking cool. It does a whole bunch of animations. You can tell it's super strong just because of how much damage it does. And all of a sudden you go into the Division and, alright, it looks like everybody else's fucking gun, except it's got a different skin on it, and it just does more damage. But hey, don't get me wrong. Tons of people are gonna look at this video that was online where some guy killed like 7 people with 1 grenade. Whoa, that was tight. That was crazy. How do you know that wasn't staged? 7 people all just grouped together, standing around trying to do the same thing, and then someone just throws a grenade in the middle of them because they're just standing in the middle of the street. Doesn't that come off as suspicious? Doesn't that come off as, maybe that was staged to kind of make the game look cool and exciting? Fuck, yes it does. And I get it. They were all trying to do something. They were all trying to interact with something, which is also even more hilarious because Ubisoft doesn't know how to program their fucking games right, and they certainly don't know how to test for their own fucking bugs. Because when you have glitches where people need to interact with items and they can't because there's so many people that are around, you failed. You failed day one. You're telling me that as an MMO, you're telling me that if tons of people running around, they can't interact with NPCs and get quests and send things and receive things and a whole bunch of other kind of stuff because there's so many people that they're just pushing around or it's hard to interact with something. You fucked up. You fucked up. And that's one of the big things that Ubisoft does not like to admit to doing is fucking up, especially after Watch Dogs. They fucked up hard with Watch Dogs. When Watch Dogs came out, there were so many bugs. You would be driving down a highway and eventually get to a bridge and you would phase through the bridge and just fall into the water as if the street never existed. Why? Did you guys not test this? Did you guys not even bother driving around the world, having people actually play the game before you fucking shipped it? You want to know why? Because they don't give a shit. They don't care. And then when finally the Watch Dogs PC version came out, guess what? The people went into the config files and they found that there were actual locks on the PC version so it would play and look just as shitty as the console version. Why is that? Why is that? Why would you purposefully nerf the PC version of this game? It's because you didn't want all of the PC players alienating your console players. How strange is that? I mean, think about it. If your console base is going to be hundreds of thousands to maybe even millions of copies, and all of a sudden the PC version looks way better than the console version, your console people would get super pissed. They would get mad. They're like, why does their version look way better than ours? We just bought an Xbox One. We just bought an PS4. These are all up-to-date, high-tech consoles. Why does our game look shittier than those PC versions? Well, They decided to fix this problem by making the PC version out of box look just as shitty as the console version. That way, no one would say anything. Fuck you, Ubisoft. You guys are disgusting. I get that you're a business and that you need to make money. But if you know deep down inside, if you actually know that the console industry is dying, let go of it. Let go of it. If you absolutely 100% know that you needed to nerf your PC copy because console people were going to get fed up that their console actually sucks, give it up. Let go of them. Let go of console. It's done. It's gone. I'm sorry. Sometimes I need to drink something, get a little raspy, start choking a little bit. Like, I can't bring myself to fathom just what kind of thought process goes through these developers when they want to make these video games, and they're just thinking, what's the best way that we can maximize the numbers despite quality control, despite beta testing, bugs, glitches, and everything else under the sun. How can we just get people to buy this crap? It amazes me. I understand you got to make a living. I understand you got to keep your studio afloat, but lying like that. Good Lord. I can't believe it. And there are people that are going to defend it. The same shit happened with Witcher 3. Why the fuck isn't anyone learning this? Why the fuck isn't anyone paying attention to this? Go look at Witcher 3's gameplay. The very first fucking gameplay that ever came out. It looks fucking gorgeous. It looks absolutely breathtaking. You're thinking, holy shit. That game looks fucking amazing. I want more of it. And don't get me wrong, Witcher 3 was a great game. I played it start to finish. I didn't play it afterwards. And no, I was not a Gwent fan. I thought that was kind of dumb, but everything else in it was fantastic. And then you look at the actual launch of the game and you compare the graphics. Now wait a minute. Normally you're thinking, Bob, cinematics are never the same as in-game. That's how it's been for years. Right? Oh, you're right. You're absolutely right. You're true. You're definitely right with that. But then why did the first gameplay footage say this is in-game footage? Why did it say that this was actually what's being used in the game engine? And then why is the final product half of what they promised? You want to know why? Because of fucking consoles! Because consoles are holding the industry back. There are so many people with so many computers now that can absolutely run a console through the fucking dirt. They could run an Xbox One or a PS4 through the mud. And guess what? PS4 and Xbox One, they won't have a choice but to say, yes, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Give me more, please. Because they get absolutely wrecked and they have no choice but to accept that they're getting wrecked. So they pull stupid bullshit. They ruin everything. They are willing to ruin what their original vision of a game was that was going to push boundaries for the sake of console sales. You know what? Well, I don't get it. I don't get it. If I was a game developer, I wouldn't give a shit about console because I know if I made this high-end, way more better experience than anyone could ever possibly imagine for computer, and tons of people on computer latched onto it, it would make more than enough money to pay for the development cost and the advertising and everything else. But no. CD Projekt Red, they just had to dumb everything down, and they never wanted to admit it. They said, oh yes, we needed to make some cutbacks. That's it. They never wanted to straight out say that we needed to make our game look like shit because of consoles. They never had the balls. They never had the balls to say it. And tons of people who went on their forums and said, hey, look, why does this look so much more different from everything else? Their accounts and their post was deleted. Now let's see here. Witcher 2. These are facts that you can actually look up in Google. You can look up the sales numbers. Witcher 2 sold 7 million copies on PC. 7 million copies. 360 version sold 1 million by itself. That's it. The 360 version for Witcher 2 sold 1 million by itself. Now, all of a sudden, they're like, well, if we try and get the console audience, we might be able to make even more money. We just got to port our game over. Okay, yeah, sure, let's try it. So now the Xbox One, the Xbone, has 10 million consoles sold at the time. The PS4 has 20 million units sold at the time. And they're thinking we could tap into that market. We could totally tap into that console market. And sure, it paid off. Tons and tons of new Witcher fans that have never, ever, ever experienced Witcher before have finally gotten the chance to experience the third part in the fucking story. They finally got the chance to witness Geralt of Rivia. And guess what? They've never heard of him before. They've never played any of these games before, but guess what? Get hype. It's on console. It's one of the only console games. It's like Skyrim. It's like Skyrim, everybody. It's like Skyrim. It's like Skyrim, except you're a hunter, and you get to ride a horse, and you get to have sex with a really hot redhead witch lady. Oh, better put it on the brakes though, because if you're PC version of it looked way better than the console version, oh, you're gonna make those console people mad. Yeah, that's 7 million to 1 ratio. That's 7 million to 1 million ratio. That's not good enough. You can't just have an honest 7 million people play your game. You can't just have 7 million people totally content with you as a studio pushing the edge for all PC games in the near future. You can't have that. No, you need the extra money. You need that extra money. You want that extra money in your fucking wallet, don't you? You want that fucking money. Yeah. Fuck you. The fuck? Give me some fucking news. Give me some fucking good video games. And stop fucking giving PC the short stick. Because I gotta tell you, I didn't spend $2,000 fucking dollars on this computer so I could run a fucking port. Alright? I'm gonna run everything on super fucking high. I'm gonna make everyone I fucking know super fucking jealous. And guess what? I'm gonna have the best fucking experience in my entire fucking life because I have a fucking PC that can actually fucking run this game at more than 60 frames per fucking second. Fucking sick of this shit. I'm not some elitist, some douchebag that's like, oh my god, my PC's like so much better than your PC. I don't give a shit what your PC's like. I don't give a shit what your console is like. I care more about my console and my PC being able to play games at 60 frames per second in the best possible way that it can. Everything maxed out. I want an absolute great experience. All right? And if you get your happy-go-lucky experiences with your frame drops and everything on your console, that go for it, all right? But me and my PC friends, we don't want frame drops. We're not content with that shit. When the game has special effects, we want those special effects to be maxed the fuck out. When we see draw distance, and if you don't know what draw distance is, open a fucking book. But when you want max draw distance, guess what? I want to be able to see all the fucking mountains in the distance. I want to see all the fucking clouds and thunderstorms that are going on, that for the storms that could be coming in. I don't want pop-in textures. I don't want fucking jaggy edges on swords and shit like that because anti-aliasing isn't fucking maxed out. That looks ugly. Now all of that looks fucking ugly. That takes me away out of the fucking game now, doesn't it? I'm walking around in a fucking dungeon and all of a sudden just the walls aren't even there yet. The walls aren't even there yet because the textures haven't popped in yet. Fuck you. Game devs, how about you actually make a great fucking game? Stop giving PC the short end of the stick. Fuck. My God. Consoles wouldn't be so bad if you could just upgrade them. If you could just take out a part and then just switch in a new part. You could upgrade it. Just like the N64 when it had that little RAM expansion pack. You could just snap it right on in, and guess what? It's got more memory now. It could do more things. Ooh. But nowadays, that's suicide. Your company can't do that. That's suicide. You can't just come out with a console that has interchangeable parts. What? You can't do that. This is crazy talk. And then what happens if you want to sell another console? 10 years later, what happens if you want to sell another console, but they'll just upgrade the older consoles, right? Wrong. You could make that one upgradable too. And you could maximize profit that way too. I might be onto something here. Upgradable consoles. It's almost never heard of. I mean, no one ever came out with that idea before. But wouldn't that just make it a PC?